how I was going to do this. If I was going to, I said you're going to introduce yourself, so we're going to start on the left.
All right.
Andrew, who are you?
I'm Andrew, and I'm going to be playing the Paladin Corsik Graves. Someone who likes to see the best in everybody he comes across and give them the benefit of the doubt.
What kind of thing is he?
He's a paladin. A paladin of peace.
What kind of gross, non-human thing is he?
What is your race and your class? Your fucking name, rank, and serial number.
I didn't know we were rolling off with just the factory specs. He's a half-elf.
He's half-elf. Just giving people a little picture.
Yep, originating down from Baldur's Gate.
John, what do you got?
Okay, I will be playing Selwyn the Fence. He is a mountain dwarf who hails from Mirabar, not Miramar. And he's on the run.
Poncho.
Oh, I'm Poncho, and I'm playing Beduin Shistavin, an Aasimar sorcerer from 10 Towns, which is apparently in the north.
Mm-hmm. And basically, Aasimar, if as they're kind of a rare race or an odd race, they look basically human, at least most of the time, but usually relatively impressive-looking humans. Some sort of divine energy flows through their brain, their veins, flows through their brains. Also,
yeah, I wanted this to be really approachable for new players and stuff, so I played a character that a character race nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, from a secondary book.
Yeah,
and that's cool though. I like him until you start playing him, and I will hate him.
You are wealthy.
My family was wealthy, but I don't have access to any of that anymore.
You are wealthy.
Quite the opposite.
Nobody's wealthy. That's why all three of you assholes need jobs.
But your family is wealthy.
My family is wealthy.
Would you have shared that information with your companions at this point?
Probably not.
Would it have been obvious that your family is wealthy?
I am wearing fine clothes.
It would be obvious.
I figured the dominant piece that he had would be a midnight blue, like sleeveless trench sort of situation, traveling coat.
So someone would have pride to find out why you have things that are not common. So he would probably have deciphered that you're wealthy. So Selwyn is pretty regularly trying to get you to rob your family.
Cool. All right. Good luck with that.
From what I know about your character, Poncho, Beduin, your character is kind of based off some spooky magic.
Yeah, he's a sorcerer of darkness. He's a darkman sorcerer.
Right.
But he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, and that's what would interest me. Because my character is all about redeeming people and showing people that people shouldn't necessarily be judged on outward appearance or preconceived notions. So the idea that you have all these spooky powers but are actually a stand-up guy is right up my alley.
Yeah, I'm super nice.
Yeah, so I have an inherent interest in making sure that you keep doing good things.
Cool. What a coincidence. I have an inherent interest in being a nice guy. So Corsik wants to keep me cool.
Selwyn puts a very high price on loyalty and dependability. So how long have we been running around for? Did we start off together at first level and we're now third?
Right. The assumption you probably have a roughly 3 levels of adventuring time together. So I would...
It's like 2 weeks?
I would think longer than that. I'm thinking several months. I would say several months. Based on how I'm thinking of the narration here, I'm thinking several months of adventures that took you outside of Waterdeep, several days journeys, probably weeks here and there, off and about. So you've had a significant amount of adventuring time. Less than a year.
Yeah, you've probably had the opportunity to like get my back on something, and that is not something that I take lightly. So I hold you in relatively high esteem.
I mean, do you have connections as far as like information and access to information that would not necessarily be in the public sphere?
Some, yes.
So it could just be that the information that you have access to is useful for somebody who's trying to break up bad things that are going on, or even just for people that are looking for work, like we are.
How righteous are you?
In what sense?
How much preaching do you do? How much? Hey, that's against the rules.
Not as much.
Okay.
It's more of a way of living rather than a proselytizing on the street corner with a book.
Cool. You're still cool then. I have a question before we get started with the story. What do you guys look like?
So I'm tall and lanky and thin. The main traveling cloak is that like sleeveless midnight blue trenchy thing. But like crazy, really bright blonde hair. He's a Northman.
Yeah. Corsik is a bit shorter than the average half elf, with an average build for that size. Olive skin, dark hair, green eyes, but not particularly strong built or particularly lanky. He's just more of a intellectual, charismatic individual.
Okay. Selwyn is pretty dense. He's got a lot of muscle, and he's clean shaven. His hair is kept really short. He tends to have a lot of gear on him at any given time, and he tends to have a lot of layers. So like, there's always 2 ponchos over him.
2 whole ponchos?
Yeah. 2 ponchos over his normal clothes. He's got a lot of gear on him. That's it. That's enough. Okay.
It's interesting because where we're going to open is the 3 of you. At least you would mostly recognize yourselves based on how you looked some time ago, huddled around a low campfire. The space around you is barren. It's just dirt, sand, and rocks. You're perched upon rocks or just laying on the sandy ground. It's a bitter, cold chill to the air, and your fire is spread kind of in almost like a star pattern of these long resin sticks to keep the light low, as to not attract, you would assume, not attract too many night creatures. The night sky covers everything. It is just sky and desert, and then blackness outside of the little lit area and a little bit of heat you're getting from this fire. You can barely make out each other's features, but as you look at each other, you're haggard, you're worn, you've seen better days. There may be scars, there may not, it's hard to tell. And as you're kind of quietly staring at each other, a sense of foreboding permeates all of your thoughts. And one by one, you start trying to remember your earliest adventures together. Some of the ridiculous problems you had to face. What seems like ages ago may have only been weeks. But if you can go ahead and grab those sheets that I had put on the table. And that's basically just a little prompt of narration that I would like you guys to decide what you want, who's going to say what. It's pretty clear who you're talking to. But whoever brings it up, I mean, one is very clearly referencing probably something that Corsik had done. The longer one is probably directed towards him. One is probably directed towards... The other 2 are a little bit more vague. And some of them are not directed to anyone in particular. So, whatever fits, I suppose you'd think someone would say.
I don't approve of your use of apostrophes.
I was trying to be cute. And you don't have to read it verbatim. Of course, you put it in your character's words. And whoever feels they want to start first, I'm going to let that'll set our initial scene.
That's the one that you want to do?
Sure. Well, I don't think you want to talk to yourself with this, but
All right. So whoever feels the table is yours. If you want to make the decision of who chimes up first, or whoever decides to say something first.
Who's the highest charisma?
that would most certainly be me.
What's your charisma?
Not necessarily.
It's a 17.
You don't have the highest charisma.
You have an 8. Oh my gosh.
I have a 19.
That's right. You're a sorcerer.
Yeah.
All right.
Angel sword. Hey, you remember when you insisted we try and negotiate a peaceful solution with that band of hobgoblins encamped in the Dissarin Hills north of Waterdeep, and it turned out that band was actually a well-disciplined band of slavers?
Oh my God, is that what you're going to talk like the entire time?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I not say that he was from the north?
Oh, man.
I've been watching Trailer Park Boys all day.
You do remember that situation.
Remember?
And particularly remember how that panned out for you. Because the negotiations were not negotiations.
Didn't go well.
No.
It's not my proudest moment, certainly.
How does your character feel about slavery?
Not a fan. Not a
a fan
fan
of
at all.
slavery?
Not a fan at all.
He's not a slave fan?
I would also assume that you weren't really happy waking up in a suspended cage with all of your equipment stripped off, effectively naked. The three of you come to. Last thing that any of you remember was approaching a group of hobgoblins after a heated negotiations, or whether you actually try to talk to these guys. They looked like there was a lot more of them than you thought would be in the hills, and they look a lot more organized. And they did not look like they wanted to talk. And it turns out they didn't. You remember getting your asses thoroughly handed to you, and then blackness. The details are a little hazy. You find yourselves, each of you, in a cage, metal cage, kind of a light metal. It's suspended to hooks on a ceiling, and you're in some sort of hewn structure, like perhaps a temple or some sort of other area. You're not sure where you're at necessarily. There's actual light in here from little sconces on the wall, but barely any light. So you're in what would seem to be a square chamber. There are several of these cages hanging from the ceiling. Others are against the wall that you can see. You can see your companions also in these cages, suspended on metal chains, hanging in this room. You can see at the far end of one side of this rectangular room what seems to have been a statue of some sort, perhaps an altar, crumbled from either damage or age. It's hard for you from this distance to make anything out. And on the other end, you can see what would appear to be a passageway, and you can't make out. It goes into darkness. You can't see much further. You can't make out whether or not there's any sort of a door or structure. Who has the highest wisdom? That's another thing I should have asked you beforehand.
Corsik has a 14.
Corsik, what is his passive perception?
It's 12.
Selwyn?
My wisdom is 13.
Passive perception is
15.
15. And Beduin?
11.
Passive perception is 11.
No. My wisdom's 11. My passive perception is a 10.
It's a solid 10.
I have to make a revision. I forgot to include my proficiency bonus in that. My passive is a 14.
God damn it.
Got to start over. Just
Wipe it all.
I don't think I can continue after that, Andrew.
I know it's pretty bad.
All right. So we're going to go with your passive perceptions. John, what does Selwyn do when he comes to? Also, he's a dwarf. Dwarf's a superior. He probably wakes up before anybody else. Actually, yeah.
When he comes to in the cage?
Mm-hmm.
How well was he searched before he was put in the cage?
He was pretty well searched. What are you implying?
He would have lockpicks in his boot.
In his boot?
Yep.
You don't have boots on, so definitely no lockpicks. You don't have nothing on. If your characters were wearing clothes, those clothes are not on you. It's possible you may still have been left with breeches. Actually, you do. If you were wearing breeches, you would see that you have something covering your naughty bits. If you generally don't wear breeches, then you're naked.
So when he was put out, he was not in a cage. He
Correct.
Came to in a cage.
You came to in a cage. So any searching that was done of your body was done while you were unconscious.
Okay. But he does not remember being put in a cage.
No, you do not.
Okay.
You also actually you can go ahead and give me a constitution. Let's call it a check.
It's a 19.
Okay. You actually have some vague memories of being manhandled. We've kind of coming to for brief moments and then passing back out. So you do recall being kind of hauled up into a cage, and you recall some of the details of multiple hobgoblins doing most of the heavy lifting, and maybe some other things that you're having a hard time recalling. So you do recall being put in a cage, and then that cage being that cage actually being like winched up
Okay.
and hung. You can remember that.
So I would look around for hobgoblins.
You don't see any hobgoblins.
How far away are my friends?
They are about 10 feet. Each of the cages is about 10 feet away from each other,
Are
including
they-
the empty ones.
Do they look to be in decent health, or are they?
No, they do not look to be in decent health, nor do you. In fact, effectively, you have 1 hit point.
Hmm.
So I call out, Beduin. Any response?
Yeah, you're all effectively conscious at different levels. So
Hey, you're up.
Yeah. Well, are you okay?
you also have 1 hit point. You do not feel great.
No, I mean, I feel kind of crappy right now, but other than that, I'm all right. I'm alive.
Corsik.
Ugh. Yeah.
Okay, you're alive.
Yeah. Not feeling great.
All right, and I would then begin rocking the cage back and forth.
Okay. What is your intent?
My intent is to knock it off of its chains.
Knock it off the chains. Okay. Are you trying to allow it to hit anything else, or are you just trying to? What are you trying to see if the chains are weak?
I'm trying. Yes, I'm. How is it? How is the cage attached to the chains?
There is some sort of like there's an actual hook
So there's a hook. Yes. So I'm trying to get I'm rocking it back and forth.
to try to get it up off the hook.
Yeah.
Maybe try. Okay. Well, that sounds like a strength athletics check. So go ahead and give me one of those.
By the way, I don't know if you can see John peeking around the corner. He's just looking for around the screen.
Oh, let's roll a 20.
That's a D12.
That is a 20.
A natural 20?
No.
Okay. Those are called dirty 20s.
God damn.
All right. You're able to swing that in such a way they're able to, and by lifting up on the base of the gates and you're able to actually pop it after several tries, you're able to pop it up onto the hook, and then knock it down. The entire cage comes crashing down to the ground, and you smack your head and lose consciousness.
Okay.
You're down to 0 hit points. But his cage is off its hook.
But it's on the ground.
It is on the ground. I would say Corsik, as you kind of take a look at it, it does look like the cage itself is damaged, and maybe that the door might be actually off its hinge or off its lock.
His specifically?
His one, yeah.
But
You also don't know how badly hurt he is and if he's bleeding out.
Sure. Looking at my own cage, does my door appear to be in a similar disrepaired state, or does it look like it's something that he just did that caused it?
It does look like something he just did. Give me a perception check.
That's going to be a 12.
A 12? I mean, it doesn't look like it's in great shape. It definitely looks worn and used. These cages they've probably been used here and have not been replaced wherever you're at. So they definitely seem like they've seen better days.
The bars are made out of metal.
Yes.
I don't have any way of breaking open these without just brute strength. So, how wide is the cage? Is it wide enough where I can brace myself against one edge of it and try to?
It's roughly a 5-foot diameter space. So you're trying to like brace it and then try to kick it.
Try to brace myself against one end and then kick it out.
It's going to be tight. It'll be really tight for you. You really won't get much of a momentum for a kick on that. You can apply pressure easily, but you're not going to get a long kick to it.
Right. I'm not physically imposing, so the impulse wouldn't do much. But yeah, the pressure might. So I'm going to try and just force it open best I can. See if
Okay.
it's possible.
All right. I can say you can go ahead and make a strength check on that. Or strength athletics if you happen to have it for some reason.
I do have athletics, but that's not my best showing. It's going to be a 6.
Yeah, no. You absolutely does not even budge. Maybe this thing's rusted shut. How long have you been here? How about Beduin?
So I'd like to make a perception check to look around, see if I can see like an active perception check. I'm specifically looking for keys or anything that can release the lock mechanism.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a straight perception.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay. So
Great way to start the game, guys. Great way to start the game.
You see, we gotta leave it to the northerner.
The superior
I mean, that
people.
D&D is not a southern game, so it makes sense. Yeah, you see everything. So you notice a few things. You do notice that number one, your compatriot Selwyn is not in good shape. There actually is a pooling of you can make out there seems to be a moisture around him in this dim light. You can tell all these cages are not in good repair. They seem relatively weak. You don't know a lot about metalwork, I don't think, or cages.
No, I don't have a lot of experience with cages.
No, it's not part of your backstory. The passageway in the one direction away from the idol, you do see that there is some sort of doorway. You can make out some sort of doorway, but it appears to be wooden. It doesn't seem to be like it's like a jail cell doorway. It's something possibly even makeshift placed there, a few feet down in that direction.
Do I hear anybody coming down that passageway or through the doorway or anything like that?
You
after the crash?
You do hear noises. Nothing coming. You do
Okay.
hear noises of what appear to be voices. What languages do you speak?
Do I speak?
Mhm.
Celestial Uncommon.
Okay, yeah. You don't know what it is. You can't understand it. It's also
You mean
very
these guys
far
don't speak Celestial regularly? They don't.
whoever it is, it doesn't appear to be celestial. You would have a hard time making it out, even with a natural 20 from the distance that it appears.
Right.
Definitely not right outside the door, but you definitely hear voices.
All right.
And on that, you see there's a lot of cages. You're not very far off the ground. You're about 10 feet off the ground. Maybe a little bit less than that in total. So you can see that if the swinging that your companion did could bring you in contact with other cages, it potentially would bring you in contact with some of the cages that are in disrepair or laying on the side out of the way. You also see a variety of, like, some of the metal could be there's like shards of metal that can be broken on some of these.
But I don't
cages.
see any keys.
You don't see any keys laying about that you can get a hold of. There's shards of bone. There's shards of metal. There's bits and pieces of debris. Other things looks like old adventuring gear things wrapped around. So you definitely don't see keys. What is your wisdom? Oh, you already did that. Give me a insight check.
11.
11. Yeah. A lot of debris, a lot of little bits of stuff. It does look like they've piled the useless, not things that weren't worth money of adventurers, is kind of in corners here and there, or you see shards of bones, so there might be people might just died here. This is definitely not a mortuary. This is a place where they move people. This is like a temporary holding.
Okay. So just baseline, because I don't play spellcasters very often.
Mm-hmm.
I can cast any spells that don't need material components right now because,
Correct.
but I specifically cannot cast the spells which need material components.
Correct.
Because my satchel of material components
Your
is not my
components are
balls.
not with you.
Okay. I mean, are there metal shards large enough to be used as levers?
Certainly.
Okay. In that case, I am going to pop a second level spell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use Misty Step
Sure.
and boost out as
Yeah.
a bonus action the verbal component of. It didn't say what my verbal component had to be, so it's whatever the hell I want it to be. I just turn to mist and I teleport out of my cage. I got a 30-foot range on it, so I can be easily on the ground. And I want to be next to something that's large enough to be used as a lever.
Certainly.
Okay, well, I do so.
Okay.
So Corsik is 10 feet above me in a
Yes.
cage with a thing.
The base of the cage is probably closer to like 7 to 8 feet from the bottom.
Okay, well, I'm about 6 feet tall in this lever, so I should be able to. Actually, you're pretty strong, aren't you?
No.
No, he's not. He
you're not very
specifically
strong
just
at
said
all?
he's
No.
not very strong.
What is your strong?
It's a 12.
Oh, I'm a 9. You're stronger than I am.
Absolutely.
Okay. But I don't see any of our stuff either, do I?
No,
right,
nothing
cool.
in this room.
All right. So I'm gonna. Does he have enough room in the cage that he would be able to use the lever to help himself out, or is this something that I would need to do?
How long is the lever?
How long is the lever? I assume the lever is about.
I mean, you
3
have
feet
a
or so.
variety of choices. So what size
I'm looking
do you
for
want
something
the-
that's like 3 to 4 feet, maybe.
Yeah, there's definitely like bars that have broken off. That
Yeah,
use
cool.
levers, things
It's
like
that
yeah.
long. Use here. I kind of pass it up.
Yeah.
Whisper. Here you go, eh?
Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna try and wedge it into the door from the outside because I imagine they swing out
Yes.
the doors. So wedge
No,
it
they,
in from the outside. and
really
pull it.
poorly designed. They're just swing in. It's really hard to get people in there.
Yeah. Try and wedge it in from the outside and pull it sideways so it'll swing out.
Sure thing. Give me a strength athletic check, but with that advantage.
That'll be an 18.
Dose 20s. Yeah. You're able to crank this thing open. It was not prepared for leverage. So you're able to pop open your door.
Thank you, Beduin.
Yeah, anytime. Just try to be quiet.
Spunk. A lot less noise than the
the
case
sound
that
of
fell.
rending metal.
And the dwarf hitting the ground.
Yeah. I'm gonna hop down quickly and try and get my curative hands on Selwyn.
Absolutely. You can do that. How much do you want to give him?
I'm gonna give him 5 hit points.
Little lay on hands action from your paladin. Do you have a particular deity that grants you that ability?
Satan. Holy Satan.
Just the Lucifer.
Hail Satan!
The one I have written down is Eldath, and I don't know if I wrote down a typo, but it is the goddess of peace. I believe I wrote it down wrong, but it is the goddess of peace. So
Let's just
You
say
wrote her
that
name down wrong?
I think I did.
Wow, you are well devoted,
you're
my
the
friend.
most prepared. That's the one thing I didn't check. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I really like Eldath, although I don't really know if that's her name. I really
fine.
saw
I
her
got a
on like
player
a show on A&E a while ago. But
It is. Eldath Goddess of Peace. That is that's a Forgotten Realms deity. Never
It
heard
might
of.
be that Eldath
maybe-
is the god of protection, and I wrote down 2 and only truncated each one.
No,
But
you're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
God of Peace is not conducive to adventuring. God of Peace is like, hey, don't do stuff.
Yeah, the God of Peace is what got you in this situation.
you're not wrong.
How much? I'm sorry. How much hit points do you give your?
I'm gonna give him 5.
Give him 5.
is it a cantrip?
Everyone is.
No.
It's lay on hands. He just gets the thing he gets to do. He gets a pool of lay on hands is a paladin ability where they get a pool of hit points that they get to just give out by touching people,
Speaking of which, 5 hit points.
Oh, thank you.
and also yourself. You may
And
if
also
you can.
myself. And that'll be all of my lay on hands.
So that's it. So everyone except for Selwyn will have 6 hit points. Selwyn, you will have a straight 5.
Cool.
That's all I need.
That's all you're gonna need.
All right,
I do have more healing,
So
but it's
some
very
decisions
limited.
need to be made.
we need to find our way out here.
We do.
Is there like a little aperture in this door to like look through? Like
You're gonna go investigate the door. I'm assuming.
Well, I presume I can see the door. Does the door have a little aperture in it with like little bars in it, like a little jail door?
No, it is not. It looks like a series of wooden panels, then braced with additional wood. Kind of old and rotted. It's on a metal hinge, but there's like a wooden frame that's been kind of structured into the stone walls here.
Yeah. While you're working on that, I'm gonna go ahead or while you're looking for that, I'm gonna go ahead and get him out of his cage.
Oh no, you.
Oh no, his cage is. If you go to
it's
heal
open.
him,
Yeah, it's
I'm
okay,
sorry.
it's
Yeah,
open.
you're able to open
He's
it
also
up and
he's
touch
also
him.
strong, and I don't see very well.
He totally opened his cage.
Oh, okay.
100% that worked.
I just thought he had dented it.
No, he
He
opened
got-
it.
he got
He's
it
just
out.
He's just also killed himself.
Absolutely.
Is this a natural cavern?
It was the force of
The
his head
cavern,
against the
the
bars.
place you're in has been hewn, so it is straight stone walls.
Who
It
did
is
it?
definitely
Who made it?
who made it. Who did it?
Dwarven lore.
Give me. Well, you are a dwarf.
It's the
Give me a
O'Shea's.
history check.
The O'Shea's hewn this cave.
You can have advantage on this. Why not? Since you're specifically looking at the stonework.
I double my proficiency bonus as well.
Oh yeah, you also have that because you're a dwarf. It's already built in.
So taking advantage because you gave it.
I'm giving it to you, so take it.
An 18 and a 19.
Jeez.
Way to use them.
Luckily,
Well used.
the difficulty class was no. You absolutely know a lot about this. It is
24.
this is not dwarven made. In fact, you're looking at this. You would assume 2 things. This is definitely hewn stone. It is not quarried stone. So your initial thought that this might be dwarven because it has been carved into rock. It has not been built. So you would also assume that you're probably underground in some sort of dungeon of some kind. But you don't think that this was dwarven made. And based on that, the imagery seems to be demonic. You're looking at that the statue doesn't look like a dragon necessarily. It looks like this might have been some sort of demonic, cultish thing. You also don't assume that you're that far underground based on the type of rock.
You said there's a door and a passageway in here.
No, there's a door that is in the passageway.
The door is
further, a few feet into the passageway.
Door was added afterwards, or was the door part of the original construction?
The door seems to have been added afterwards. Whether or not it was always a wooden door, this is definitely a more recent wooden door added to that space.
Is this something that we need to finesse, or is this something smash?
No, you can go look at it closer if you want.
I like to listen. I'd like to make a perception check to listen up against the door to see if the voices which I heard earlier are well close.
You don't even have to make a check since you got that natural 20 before. It carries over for this at least. They do not.
I'm gonna keep spinning that natural 20.
They definitely seem like they're around several corners. They seem a bit far away, but far away as in like around a street corner down the road, or perhaps any very large building far away. You don't notice, and you can all kind of hear it too. You can all hear. There are definitely voices. You're just getting a clearer picture. They seem agitated. Whoever these voices are. What languages do either of you speak?
Aside from Common, I speak Dwarvish and Elvish.
Mm-hmm.
Dwarvish and Common. How do you get extra languages?
Intelligence.
Then I should speak something else based on your bonus.
No,
Oh, is it not anymore?
I don't believe you have like inherently extra.
Oh,
languages.
that's right. I got an extra language because I was an entertainer, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't recognize the language. It doesn't sound particularly sophisticated. It sounds a little ugly. You can both make history checks. All three of you can make history checks.
Right.
As you're kind of listening intently to the voices. It shouldn't be a hard check. You should basically assume what the language is. To your situation.
I rolled a 1.
Oh yeah.
I got a 10.
You're pretty sure it's gophers.
A 13.
And a
10.
10.
I'm your man.
You're the man. You are listening the hardest.
Intelligence -1.
It's
Giants. It's giants.
It's goblin.
Is it?
Obviously, it would probably be goblin. That makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
It's not drow, so that's good.
Absolutely.
It's definitely not an elvish.
Bugbears. All right, so we need to.
There are aperture, like the wood is not tight.
Okay.
The panels, you can definitely peer through it.
Okay, I do so.
There is a little bit of dim light also with these sconces in here as well, which seems odd for goblins, but it's there, and it's barely. If you didn't have dark vision, you would assume you'd have a very hard time seeing.
I've got silly dark vision.
You got super dumb dark vision.
Being a dark sorcerer lets you see in the dark.
Really, does it?
Yeah.
Also, being just about anything other than human lets you see in the dark.
Well, yeah. Asmar gets you like 60 feet, and then being a dark sorcerer like doubles that.
Yeah.
It's like,
so you can definitely make out there is a room adjacent to this, also carved stone. You see a couple pillars, and part of the wall looks like it's crumbled and caved in. So passing through, it kind of blocks about half the hallway there, but it's definitely seen some passage. There's sconces in those pillars that are giving that dim light. They're barely lit. There's just like a really low flame in there. You also see there's like containers or boxes of things lined up along the walls there, and then the passageway continues, and that's where the voices are coming from. The passageway continues to your left outside of this room, and that's where the voices are echoing from.
all right, are these hinges on this door like super rusty and stuff?
No, they're not. They don't seem particularly rusty. They're relatively new. They're not in great shape.
All right, I test the door to see if it's locked.
It is locked.
Yes. So again, back to my question before.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at this door and with what I know about locks,
Sure.
and what I know about masonry,
Mm-hmm.
and what we have at hand, is this something that makes more sense to try to finesse with whatever I can scavenge, or is this a muscle it off the wall type of thing?
Well, you've certainly seen a lot of locks. This is not a sophisticated lock. In fact, you have access obnoxiously from this side to the locking mechanism. It was not meant to keep prisoners in. It was more of a measure to do it. So it can be finessed, you think, without too much issue. You don't foresee a complicated lock. It's literally just like a key going into the lock. Also, if someone was particularly strong, it certainly could be manhandled. It also doesn't look like it's particularly tight on the door frame. You could probably budget enough.
Okay, but I mean, it would be better to not make a ton of noise.
Mm-hmm.
So
also, your friends are super weak.
Yeah. You guys are so weak. So I'm gonna go see like if there's a piece of chain or a piece of the cage or something that I can do an improvised lockpick with.
Yeah, give me a perception check just to see how long it takes you. I'm pretty sure you're gonna find something.
Oh, that's a total of 9.
Okay, so it takes you a while as you're picking through the stuff. Like, it's way too big. It's not gonna work. It takes you at least 15 minutes. 15 minutes go by and he's still looking for this stuff.
Is that something we could help him out with?
I mean, you could. I said, okay, go ahead and take advantage on it. Just go ahead and do another roll. And maybe it'd be helpful.
22.
Shoot. Okay. Yeah. I should stop giving you guys advantage.
We're so helpful.
Yeah. I'm picturing like, how's this? No, that's crap. How's this?
How about this? How about this thin piece of metal?
What's your intelligence?
Femur.
My intelligence is an 11.
Oh, my intelligence is a 9. I'm definitely that. Like, how about this? Is this gonna work? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll find something better. That's
Here's
my
a
bad.
boot.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
You can kick down the door with
I
this.
think in relation to your guys' stats, my dude's like a superstar.
Some of my stats are really good. My
You are
dex
pretty burly.
Yeah. I think I have. Actually, you have no bad stat.
No, he's well rounded. He's a well rounded, good stat guy.
I have a few stats that I'm really good at, and the rest of them I'm kind of shit.
Groovy.
Yeah, my stats are online with Selwyn's, but they're just in different places.
Didn't need to be smart. You are able to find an appropriate makeshift lockpick. Go ahead and give me this will count as thieves' tools. I'm gonna go ahead and say it does. Give me a check, or we're gonna call this a dexterity based check. So basically, you get your proficiency bonus on top of this check. I'm not gonna let you use another skill with this because this is still a makeshift.
Okay. You want to give me advantage on this one too?
No, I was possibly thinking about giving you a disadvantage.
21.
Yep. Definitely the door unlocks this door as
I'm
if he
feeling
had.
cocky. I'll take this advantage.
Oh, jeez.
You twat.
Then he locks it again and breaks the makeshift pick.
You like that? I'll do it again.
Let's. I kind of want to roll with that.
It's a 12.
Let's not.
It's a 12.
Let's not keep you locked in this room the entire.
Best adventure ever.
Everyone just keeps fucking up.
And then everyone was in a room
That
forever.
you know what? In fact, that does happen. Okay. So it does take him 15 minutes as he goes and has to find a way to remove that pick that he just broke off in there.
It's phone book the D&D or phone
all right.
booth the D&D adventure.
So I look at the two of you after I mess up that attempt, and I try to shoulder the door.
Okay, go ahead and give me a strength athletic check.
That would be a 23.
Seriously? Yeah, he pops the door off its hinges.
Ah, so that's how you pick a lock.
Yeah. Ooh, that was really neat.
Yeah,
Good
it
job,
doesn't.
buddy.
It does make a significant amount of noise, however, and scrapes along the stone, and you basically have to scrape it out. It doesn't just bust open like a locked door. You're basically pulling this and prying this in a way to kind of crawl through or break off some wood. It takes you a good 10 minutes to kind of get yourselves all out.
More than one way to grate an apple.
We'll go with it.
You don't notice any sound, any voices anymore.
At least all the hobgoblins are deaf.
One hopes. What's in this room or this passage?
Well, you're in that room that I described before, and you see 2 pillars, again, lit with sconces, and several, looks like cases or chests stacked on top of each other. And then you can see, of course, the broken down wall, and then around the corner, the passage continues.
So the broken down wall, was it like making a separate room? Was it like a partition, or is it? busted down and there's like gravel and
It's busted out and it's like gravel.
there's nothing beyond it.
No, if there was anything beyond it, it's inaccessible at this point.
Cool.
If there was a level of something above, it's probably it's just a wall of rock. It does look like it could. It's possible that this could have been a part that went up to a higher level. That's certainly possible.
Cool.
Before we leave this room, I want to grab a bar that's suitable for thumping.
Sure. Do either of you want to similarly makeshift?
No, I don't do that.
I'm hoping that our stuff is inside of this chest.
Me too. Yeah, I don't do that. Hey, why don't you try to open these chests here too? Yeah, it's a little bit of redemption from that door you had to muscle off there.
Got it open.
Yeah, we'll try to do it with the chest now.
What type of locks are in the chest?
They don't appear to be locked.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, so I'm like,
woo!
all right. So when you ask me that, like, this is gonna be tough. So I grab my thumping bar and I just pop open the lid.
Ooh, nice job.
Give me a performance check.
What is performance? Performance is
Charisma.
Charisma.
Oh. It's a 3.
Yeah.
So I seem like I really bought it. Like, way to go! Wow, this guy is good that we got him on our team, eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, you're gonna copy me now, are you? Oh yeah, he's great. Yeah.
It's super infectious.
yeah.
That specific phrase.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, that would happen if you guys been venturing for some time. That's gonna happen.
Well, yeah.
It's more making fun of you than anything else.
You're like a you're like a negotiator, like a peacekeeper kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
I assume you think it's celestial. I assume you think it's a celestial phrase, and so you're like, oh yeah, you betcha, whatever the hell that means.
I mean, you pretty much present yourself as someone from the north.
I am a Northman.
He would probably just assume that it's.
Oh yeah,
your
but I
northern
also
accent.
I'm also
and there's other Northmen, and as we've established, this is just how people.
To our
down
gods up above. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I have a
you
question,
betcha.
Andrew. We know that you don't like short
People.
races in D&D. Is that carry of your character? Or does Corsik have like a weird, like he really fights against this prejudice? He knows it's not appropriate, but he's like, dwarves.
Do you really have a player
he kind of
prejudice
an
against
asshole?
short races?
I don't enjoy playing short races.
What is it specifically about them that pisses
They're
you off?
short.
They seem like Muppets.
He doesn't like them.
I agree with your bias.
So it's not like a mechanical thing like, well, they only got speed 25 and
I imagine myself in the role, and I'm like, my guy's 3 foot tall. I'm underneath the table.
Some of us enjoyed Jim Henson's work. Others have no soul. That's fine.
farewell.
It's fine. But that does that not carry over?
It does not carry over.
Be clear.
I do not have any
Characters-
prejudice against
no
our
You don't
Selwyn.
Or Northerners, right?
Short people.
Okay.
No.
So, all right, kids. You're able to pop open these boxes. Most of them are empty. Some rags, some worthless weapons that have been dented and dented, but dented and dented. In addition to dented, they were also dented.
Google it.
But you do find your equipment in one of the boxes. One of the top ones. All the stuff that you would possibly need
I put on all my stuff.
are all there. You're all fine.
I put it all my stuff.
Convenient. It's like they knew we were going to get out and need
Yeah.
this stuff.
It's like they this is just where they kept the stuff in storage.
It's almost like they carried it's almost like you had so much shit they didn't want to carry it very far. They just lined up some boxes here.
Yeah, there's what, 2 chests?
There's more than 2 chests, but a lot of them are just empty.
Yeah, no, there's 2 chests of our stuff. 1 chest for his stuff and
Yes.
1 chest for our stuff.
Hey, so I'm assuming that the chest had to be popped open and like we didn't necessarily like, oh, this is my chest.
Right? No.
Did anyone have anything interesting?
Well, I mean, we were all standing around you when you did it.
People did have things that are interesting, but their interesting things would not necessarily be right on top.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you have one of the most interesting things, the hat, and it doesn't look like. And luckily, all of your cool inherent things were not.
Do you wear your sleeping cap all the time?
Pretty often.
Like out during the day? Just like,
No, just during bedtime.
oh, okay.
It's got it's the fabric has patterns with like the different phases of the moon and stars and clouds.
Okay.
Not walking around attire.
Yeah.
I love that image. I love the image of this like burly, roguish, or like just scarred and just scuzzy dude. He just this little sweet little little nighttime bonnet. This little nightcap puts it on.
Gets his little plush goblin out.
One of the
Just
things
wiggles into bed and just has the sweetest
and one-
sleep
one of
every
the things-
night.
One of the things that you probably have noticed is whenever he sleeps with it, he's always smiling.
He always seems to have the sweetest dreams. Sweet sleeps. Man,
Hey,
no
everyone likes
cares.
what they like.
I guess.
I put on all of my things as well.
Okay. All right. Do you continue down the passageway after you've regained your equipment?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Sure thing. You round the corner, and you see in front of you a river, an underground river of sorts, and a bridge over this river.
How was the water of the river?
Hey, can you see?
The water looks
Yeah, I can
quite lovely.
It's
Actually,
not.
it looks,
It's not troubled at all.
no, there's no troubled water. None of you are really nature. Well, you think it's hard to see from the distance and with the lack of lighting, because as you come out here, there's no light. There's no sconces. You kind of come out into
Who doesn't have dark vision? Anybody got dark vision?
still no light.
Dark
It's-
vision would still make it hard to see, actually.
Yeah, it gets gray when you're still got a little bit of dim light, so it's you're okay. But you see a bridge and some steps. It looks like some of this is been everything beyond this is rough hewn. The bridge has a little bit of worked stone around it, but the bridge itself is wooden laid on top of it. Coming over this bridge, you see two goblins followed by a well-armed hobgoblin, and they're hurrying towards you as if help was gathered. There's one you see two crossing the bridge and the hobgoblin behind him. I would like you to roll initiative.
Cool.
You want to give me advantage in this one, too?
No.
Oh, you sure you don't want to give me advantage?
Man, John, that didn't look like a roll. That looked like a place.
That's right.
I take it back.
That was
It was meant to be.
place. That's a roll.
All right.
Selwyn will be acting on a 6.
Okay.
Corsik got a 15.
Ah, yes, but Beduin got a 16.
All right. Awesome. At least the goblins, got an 18. What a jerk those goblins are. They shout to the bridge, obviously bringing you to the attention of the hobgoblin superior, who kind of just grimaces. Looks like he's not quite prepared. He's reaching for his weapon. The two goblins on the bridge, ready their short bows and fire upon you. I'm going to go ahead and see who we're going to shoot at. How would you approach? What is your normal marching order? Who's going to be in the front?
Me. I'll be taking the point.
Not me.
And neither of you both be just kind of behind him in some fashion, I would assume. But let's go ahead.
How'd you get an armor class of 14?
Nice armor. And a high dexterity.
Are you wearing armor?
Yeah,
Now?
I got leather armor.
Okay.
Yeah. Leather armor gives him a... Looks like just a +1, and then he has a +3 dex. You only
Alright.
have a 14 because you have the wimpy wizard armor.
Which is no armor at all.
All right.
Corsik, should we begin negotiations again?
I believe negotiations have fallen through.
Hey, I heard maybe we should try some of that aggressive negotiations. Yeah?
All right.
It might be time.
Two short arrows come from firing from the short bows of these goblins on the bridge, and one of them strikes you.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not great. The other one, you're able to definitely knock aside, but one pierces you and does 5 points of damage. That's not great.
No, it's not.
It is pretty bad.
Does that drop you?
No, I
No,
have one left.
He has one left. That's
Oh,
awesome.
right,
TPK from the start. We'll see how this. We'll just roll up new characters. So next up in the order is Beduin.
it's me. Mm-hmm. And I have to figure out how to play a damn spellcaster in this game.
Sorcerer. Well, you can only really do one thing.
So we only have one. If something takes an action, that's what you do during your turn, correct?
Well, you can move up to your movement. During that movement, you can take your action. You can also do some minor stuff as well on top of that.
Is there any sort of rock outcropping or boulder or something I can get cover behind?
There absolutely is. If you want to jump to the right, you can get behind some rocks and out of sight of the.
I don't necessarily want to be out of
bridge.
sight. Well, I guess I do. Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
You would still be. You could peek around it.
Okay, so yes, I will do that. I would then. You said that there's a hobgoblin who's well armored and such.
Yes,
Well armored and armored.
Yes.
He's got, I assume, some sort of melee weapon.
He is armed with a long sword. He also has apparently a bow strapped along his back
Cool. What direction is he currently moving?
towards you across the bridge. He's
I mean,
not. He's,
I mean, as far as a map compass, as a navigational compass, what cardinal direction?
you have no idea what direction.
Wait, it specifically matters for one of my spells.
Do you know which direction?
It doesn't. I don't need to know. My character does not need to know. I'm asking you.
You don't know, so you can tell me what your spell does, and I can tell you if it.
All right, fine. So the hobgoblin needs to make a Constitution saving throw with a DC of 14.
Okay, what spell are you casting?
I'm casting Infestation.
Oh no!
So I'm pulling up my component.
What does that do?
It infests him with fleas and
Where do they
ticks
come
and stuff. From I have my pouch and with all
They
my
just
things.
appear from the ether. They're not summoned?
Yeah. Do you want me to read the specific
Yeah, I
spell?
want to know what's happening.
I cause a cloud of mites, fleas, and other parasites to appear momentarily on one creature I can see within range.
Okay, there's probably a ton of those.
Yeah.
What was the DC?
14.
So this cloud appears. It doesn't seem to bother him at all. What happens if he makes the check?
Nothing.
If is there any half damage or partial effect, or is it all or nothing?
Target must succeed on a saving throw, or
It's cantrip, right?
it's cantrip.
Okay, yeah. So he succeeds. So
Cool. That's what I do.
that. So a cloud of gnats appear on it. It looks like this guy's just.
So I'm like, let's see how you like this one, eh? And
Yeah.
then he just did
He's
because
just
I forgot the hobgoblins are dirty creatures.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty clean, but they live with dirty creatures. All right. Corsik.
Corsik is going to dive behind the boulder as well.
Okay.
Intended
It's
his
getting
wounds.
cramped there. There's not a lot of space.
That's fine.
You can back
No.
up.
I'm not planning on staying behind there for long, but
Okay.
I need to be there long enough to be able to heal myself. So I'm going to go ahead and use Cure Wounds.
Okay.
Say a short prayer and heal myself to the tune of 3 hit points
Woo!
plus my spellcasting modifier, which is Charisma, so 6.
Nice. That's like another whole short bow attack.
It is.
Are you gonna stay behind that rock for now?
Huddling
behind your sorcerer?
I will go back out just
You
to.
come behind me?
Pretty much is that's the amount of space he has. He got out of sight, and it would
I'll
put
stand
him behind
next.
you.
I'll stand
Since you
next
were-
to the boulder,
since you were-
providing a target other than the rogue.
What kind of armor are you wearing?
I'm wearing chainmail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Selwyn is up next.
Okay.
I forgot.
So like we're right at the entrance from where we came out from. Basically,
You're a little ways down.
where we came from, and then a bridge. Those are our two options. Bridge in front of us.
Yes, there's no other way. There's a bridge. You can see on the other side of this river is looks like a dock and a moored boat, like an actual legit boat for traveling this river that would be able to pass underneath this bridge.
How much
And-
ground do I have to cross to get into the river?
To get to the river, from where you are at this point, you're about 20 feet away from the bank.
You said there's wood over the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge is made of wood, as if they were brought in here and placed on top. You're not sure. It doesn't look particularly secured to the ground. It looks like it's kind of counterweighted with stones to place it on there. It's not.
Okay. So basically, the options are retreat,
Mm-hmm.
go through the goblins.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to go forward, or they'll just get more reinforcements.
This isn't the best place to fight, but we don't have time to make a discussion right now. Did you say, "Hey, go forward"?
Push.
All right.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. This is foolish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shoot Mr. Hobgoblin.
Mr. Hobgoblin, all right, take your shot. Shoot your shot.
Do I have advantage in this?
You do not. You do not have any advantage. What are you firing with?
With the crossbow.
Okay. All right. What did you roll?
I shot myself in the foot.
You rolled a nice natural one.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You see Selwyn deftly pull his handcrafter, as you've seen many times. A runic, kind of dark and spooky looking crossbow with dwarven runes upon it, and fires a gleaming silver bolt that seems to kind of vanish as it shoots and kind of moves with almost like an ethereal path, and then just go right past this hobgoblin, nowhere near him, and you hear like a ting, beautiful silvery ting, and then he just kind of goes like that with the hand crossbow and looks at it.
Oh, good try.
Yeah.
What do you
Good
do with your
try.
movement? Do you want to stay out there in the open?
Someone's been mucking with my bow. I am going to. How far away is the river?
You're 20 feet away.
Oh, sweet! I moved 25. I'm gonna jump into the river.
Okay. All right, you jump into the river.
Yeah.
Give me a strength athletics check.
I'm good at that. Not that good.
Not with that.
It's a 9.
Oh my god. Okay. The current is not particularly strong, but there is a current, and you possibly because you just knocked yourself out, you've been through a lot, you have a really hard time, and you start drifting down this river. You're trying to swim, you're two-way down, you forgot to put your crossbow away, who knows? But you start drifting with the current, and you're not able to keep against it. So he starts drifting into the darkness of this underground river. All right, we're back. In fact, we're back in the campsite.
Oh, shit.
Night seems to last forever. You can't remember the last time you saw the sun, and then you remember it, and you really wish it maybe stayed light longer. A chill carries over your shoulders.
We're at a camp right now.
You're sitting in the campsite. You can barely make out each other's faces.
Yeah.
You've been adventuring for too long. And you're sort of remembering just that ridiculous situation you got in with those goblins, and how you got out of that situation.
That's what I call a sticky situation.
Dear God, no, that didn't happen.
He covers up the pain.
So when you notice like what some sort of like a shape or shadow you think you notice outside of the light kind of move. You've been seeing that every night for days now.
Enough to make me want to investigate it?
Absolutely not. Enough to perhaps to take your mind off this particular situation by recalling another tale.
Okay. So, I stretch and yawn. I put on my little cap. How about that time when we were headed to Keldell? And you were pestering about the sausages. You were like, hey, let's make those sausages. Let's make those sausages. Hey, those sausages. Like, no, those sausages are bad. And then we camped. And you kept on all day. More about the sausages.
You do recall this situation. There was a lot of discussion about sausages.
Oh, I totally want to edit in like a
Little wavy cam.
And it, there was a lot of sausages that you brought for this trip. Parked in the middle of the forest. Still on your way to your rendezvous. Originally, you were gonna meet a contact for a job, but you find yourself in this time you were sitting around a campfire. This time they're roasting sausages, and to be honest, they smell great. Spiced sausages, they're delicious smelling. You're just about to break into them. You're actually feeling really good. It's a whole different experience being around a campfire with your compatriots, about to get a job which you're confident is going to be lucrative. But you'll afford your rent at your domicile in Waterdeep, which has been a problem. You really don't want to piss off your landlady. But you're just sitting around and having a conversation around the campfire.
row your boat gently down the stream.
row,
Merrily,
Row,
merrily,
row
merrily,
your boat
merrily. Life is
gently
but
down
a
the stream.
dream.
Dwarves don't sing.
I'll pull out my lute.
So it'd be super easy. You know, no one would suspect it. We can just walk right in and grab whatever we want. You know where all the best stuff is.
No,
Just be super easy.
can't. Cannot. Can't go back.
That's the extent of the conversation.
Yeah.
Every night over sausages.
It'd be so easy.
No.
You probably wouldn't even notice anything's gone.
No. Still no. Probably not. Family.
This conversation that Corsik has overheard several times. I'm not sure if you know the details of it, if it's just between them, or if you're just hitting snippets of it. If it's like they're always finishing a conversation they started sometime before.
It's something I'm not privy to. But
What's your opinion of the sausages?
I think that they're delicious. They're far better than the gruel I used to be eating.
All right. Are you trying to butt into this conversation at all?
I'm content to listen in and see what they're talking about, but I'm going to keep playing my lute.
What do you do? What type of songs do you play?
A bit softer, nothing too energetic. We're just enjoying a meal. Just something soothing.
Sure thing. Give me a perception check.
Perception?
Actually, yeah, you could give me a perception check.
Be a 19.
Ooh. So they're kind of having the same conversation. Everyone's enjoying the sausages. The smell of sausages just permeating the entire camp. Just this beautiful blanket of delicious, savory meats cooking. And you're playing your lute, one of your favorite songs. You're kind of gazing out at the shadow play of the campfire against the forest. And it's just a gorgeous kind of flickering of lights. And then a gigantic face of an owl staring at you. And then woods. And then a gigantic face of an owl staring at you. And you notice it's a gigantic face of an owl that is way bigger than an owl's face should be.
When you say a gigantic face of an owl, how big are we talking here?
Like the size of a bear. Yeah, roll initiative. As you notice this owl drooling.
That's better. So an X on a 16.
Nice.
Got a 19. Fitting.
I got a lucky 7.
Great. All right. So Corsik would be acting first, which makes a lot of sense. Selwyn, and then this owlbear, and then Beduin can try to make it itch if he wishes.
I do more than that.
Do you?
It would be super cool if that was my signature spell.
It
Though.
would be real neat if you're just like a pestilence sorcerer.
Super hot.
Yes.
Oh man, you could have one of those like crazy name spells, like the Bedouin's annoying itch.
Bedouin's irritating itch.
Effectively,
Feel it in your dick.
Effectively, I'm not gonna be too cruel with you guys. I'm gonna say you can act, but none of your equipment is really. You're not really armed. Your stuff's kind of laying about. Some of the stuff might be on you, but most of your weapons are kind of off to the side. There's a moment of panic when you see this. No one else sees it. No one else. They're just having their conversation. You notice this. It's drooling, and you see it starting to like make a motion to move in.
The music abruptly stops. I don't mean to alarm you two, but there's an owlbear coming up behind you. Start running around for my shield and my sword.
All right, you run to grab your weapons. What's your okay? Selwyn. Apparently,
So he said that.
he did say
And
that.
it's coming from behind me.
Supposedly, there's an owlbear behind you.
Okay, so I turn my head and I look back.
Right?
What do I see?
Looks like an actual owlbear, like a bear, but also an owl. Like if you took an owl
Yeah.
and then gave it paws instead of wings.
By Tears Balls, that's a big ass owl. I have sausage in my hand.
You do.
I throw sausage at the owl bear,
Okay.
and then I go the opposite direction that it's coming from.
Okay. All right. go ahead and give me an attack roll.
Oh, see how good of a sausage
Yeah,
flinger I am?
dex-based improvised weapon, so you don't get your proficiency bonus.
He's not proficient with sausages?
Nope.
I
He's
beg
not a
to
sausage
differ.
expert.
That's a 6. I rolled the wrong die, though.
He did not. Gosh. He's
Oh, also would have been a 6 if I would have rolled the proper die. I feel better about that.
Is that a 6 with your dex bonus?
Yeah.
Okay. So you weakly throw that sausage off like nowhere near the thing. You don't even think that it noticed it because there's just so much of the cooking sausages sitting there in that frying pan that you've got there. But you're still gonna book after making the attempt. The opposite direction basically is into the woods on the other way. About like,
I'm not hauling that far. Like, basically the other side of the fire.
we got you. The other side of the fire.
Bentley? Bentley, come here.
Come on.
That was a unexpected cat-dog interaction. Probably because
What's
he's
going on
stealth. He's actually stealth dog right now.
Is that the sound that an owlbear makes when a sausage is thrown at him?
No, it's more like ooh, ooh.
You hit a stray cat.
Roar.
in the reeds.
Okay, I'm sorry, I got very distracted by that. All right, Selwyn. Well, that leaves just your friend Beduin staring. But you're like, what? The?
So I look over my
Oh
shoulder.
no, it's not your turn.
Oh.
It just leaves you as the meat.
Well, you don't have to run super far away from an owlbear. You just have to run faster than somebody else.
Okay.
So,
The Alboar moves faster than all of you. So this beast, you can hear it, even though you don't see it because it's behind you. You hear this thump, 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 thump of this massive thing moving through the brush, and the grass and dirt getting pounded as it moves towards you. You wish you were able to move, but you're almost paralyzed with fear. It attacks you.
I think you're supposed to lay down.
Oh shit! All right. What is your AC?
14.
And this
Okay,
is how we lost.
That's unfortunate. You see, you're just like, and you just see this big on the corner of your eye. You see this massive beak, come and just snap inches from your face off to your side. Just, you could see this head, and then you feel to your left side. It just kind of hug you in this bear hug, but it's not a comfy bear hug. It's like a bear hug with knives.
Oh, the hell.
Yeah, it's not great.
Also by a bear.
Aw, that's not too bad. It rakes you with claws. And actually, that is pretty bad. Rolled the wrong dice. That's a crap ton.
Massive damage.
You take 19 points of slashing damage as it cuts you across the chest, and it kind of pulls you into its warm embrace. How are you doing there?
I have 19 total points.
Oh God, I'm just
Specifically 19
creating
total points.
amazing scars and permanent injuries for all of your characters. So it gores across your chest, and you just watch as it just kind of like pulls your companion underneath its frame. This is not something that you want to trifle with. And you heard stories of kind of a like owlbears in some sort of mystical, wizardly place. You've heard weird tales about these woods. You did not believe bears that also were owls, and that you would actually encounter one. You're not that far off the trail. You just kind of went off the particular path of the woods to set up your camp. But here it is, and there goes your friend. It is now Beduin's turn. I would like you to make you're at
0.
0. I'd like you to make a death saving throw.
Oh wait, hold on a second. No. No, this is the thing that I can do.
No.
So back.
What did you roll first of all?
I rolled poorly.
Okay.
So back to when he hit me. I have, as an Asimar, I have a thing that when I get to 0 hit points, I make a charisma saving throw with a DC of 5 plus the damage I took. And if I succeed, I'm not at 0 hit points. I'm at 1.
Oh, that's true.
Can you get a 24?
He can. He has a high enough.
I have a charisma of 4. So
natural 20.
Got that 5% chance.
a 21. How much damage did I take?
19.
Whew, that was close. All right. So 1 failure on the
All right.
death saving throw. Boop, boop.
Interesting to know about your character, though.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
Great. Corsik.
Yeah, as long as you don't get one shot by an owlbear, you're good.
I think that's actually a sorcerer thing, not an Azamar thing.
I believe it is a sorcerer. I think it's the shadow, the fact that you're tied to death.
I'm a dark sorcerer.
Or maybe it's the other way. I don't remember. Your character's very convoluted.
Was I able to collect my equipment?
Yes.
All right.
You didn't pack it up. It's just laying off
Right.
on a log.
In that case, I'm going to go ahead and advance up to the owlbear.
Sure thing. He's right there.
Yeah, I'm going to
Not much
provide a big
advancing
target. I'm going to go ahead and cast a shield of faith on myself, ask for a bit of protection, and I'm going to make myself as big a target as possible so that he leaves the unconscious sorcerer alone.
Just start eating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't just start chowing down.
Okay. Is that all you can do?
That's my movement on my bonus action. I guess
Well,
I
you
might
have
as
an
well try
action.
and bop it in the face.
Yeah, you have
I'm used to
your
the
regular
spells
actions.
taking up the full thing, but yeah, it's just a bonus action.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to swing at it. Lost my cards. I rolled a 1 and dropped all of my cards on the ground. It's not a good way to start.
No, it's not. It's not. It's super terrible.
How
But
many
they're
dice
there.
does somebody needed to make a new character? I'm about to die.
I think it's 46.
You swing wildly at this beast, barely even able to contain the spell in your head, and all your spells get jumbled for a moment as you're not really sure if you even prayed for them this morning. Selwyn, you are not inspired by your compatriots at this point. However, you do have a companion who is engaging an enemy.
Okay, so I probably am not close to any of my gear since I jumped to the other side.
You're not really that far. You just jumped on the other side of the fire, so
Yeah.
you're within. If you want to try to make a run and pick up your something, you don't have that much gear. None of you are unarmored. Your weapons are probably. In fact, you probably have your knives easy. I'm not sure where your crossbow would be.
Sure. So I am going to. No, this is better. I am going to attempt to hit this owl bear with the skillet.
Okay. Whack it with a skillet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, are you going to try to flank this owlbear?
Yes.
Okay. I'd say that is probably possible for you to do. Within your movement, I think let's say just to stay out of its range. Actually, you can do it without. But you can move in without. Fine. So moving out, that's a problem. So you get to do it. You can get in a flanking position. Go ahead and give me an attack roll with advantage. You do not get your proficiency bonus,
Okay.
but you do get your. I guess this would actually be a.
Doesn't matter. It's +3 either way.
Okay.
15.
Yes, you thwack it with a frying pan. So I'm going to say that's going to do a D4. I'm being a little generous, probably. D4 sounds right. And then your sneak attack bonus, of course.
I should have just hit it with something proper. 6, and that would add strength to it, right?
Yes.
9.
All right.
Al Cabal!
You smack it in the butt. And it goes, "Whoa!" Didn't seem like it bothered it that much. But you send it. It's a sensitive part of the butt. It's a nice firm thwack on the ass. Now it's the owlbear's turn.
Was the skillet hot?
You know what? It probably was a burning hot skillet. Go ahead and roll another D8 burning hot skillet damage.
2 more points of damage.
These
It
are
wasn't
some,
that
It
hot.
wasn't.
these are some impressive rolls.
Yeah, it was warm. It was probably appropriate skillet damage as opposed to a full 8. Well, we have a very tasty paladin in front of me and then a hot ass behind me. He's definitely going to try to take a bite on Corsik. And he misses terribly as he kind of snaps and you kind of push your shield out of the way and knock his beak to the side. He's going to try to kick at this creature behind him because that was a freaking hot flaming fire pan. Basically a back claw attack, but I'm going to give him disadvantage. Figuring he can't really see very well back there. So let's see if he can actually nail you. Possibly. What's your AC?
Do I have my armor on?
You do.
14.
Okay. He does manage to thwack you. He manages to kick back and smack against you. You take I'm going to say you could take a massive 7 points of damage. He's not able to actually slash at you at all. Mostly it's just the force of his back claw.
Okay.
Or back foot. Bedouin, let me give another
Oh, yeah. Success.
success. Good. Mark it. Death feels very comfortable to you. Feels like a warm embrace. Little shadows and
Yeah.
moonlight. Corsik. You got one man.
Got one man behind, and
He is, to be fair, you can reach him.
can I reach him?
Yeah, he's right. I mean, the owlbear basically just is like holding him and then slashing and kicking and biting at you.
Holding
He's
you
got
to
a
its
snack.
feathery
He's
breast.
like, I got 3 meals right here.
Yeah, I'm actually worried that if I wake you up and you're being held by an owl bear, it's just going to chomp on you.
It's possible. But you are aware that your compatriot has mystical abilities, including the ability to teleport.
That's true. I'm gonna hope that you can get away, and I'm gonna try and get a hand onto you.
Okay.
Is that something that I'm capable of doing?
Yeah, I could say that you're able to. He's not trying to keep him away. It's just he's just there. So it's not really that difficult for you to reach out, and all you have to do is touch him. So
Yeah.
you can be able to do that enough to get a lay on hands.
I'm gonna place a hand as firmly as I can on his chest and give him 15 points.
Well, you
hit
can't reach
points.
his chest. That's ridiculous.
He touches my shoe and gives me 15 points of damage.
High five of life.
Yep.
So you suddenly feel life course back within you. You're on the cusp. You're ready for it, and then nope, you feel great. The power of a god that you don't really pay attention to invigorates you.
And a subtle sense of longing for what
Is
was
is
almost...
land hands an action for you?
It is a full action.
Okay. Do you anything you want to do with your bonus action?
My bonus action will be to yell and provide an appealing target.
Yelling is a free action, but we'll say maybe it gets a little bit more emphasis.
What
Yeah.
do you
Give me a.
I don't know. I don't think it speaks common.
Try to-
It's
what are you
just
gonna do?
loud noises.
What are you gonna make? What are you doing?
Huh?
How are you yelling? This bird, bear, man. It's not a man. There's no man there.
There's no man in there.
Just
It's just
bear
owl and bear.
Owl and bear. There's
Not
no,
owl bear
it's
man.
Not owl bear.
Owl man band.
It's like some sort of bear owl.
Yeah. Flailing my arms around after I've already touched you. Just make as much noise as I possibly can. Glowing white paladin flailing around in front of him.
Okay.
I'm making as much of a scene as I can, trying to
Give
keep
me
his
a
attention on me.
performance check.
Sure. I'm actually good at that. That's gonna be 14.
Yeah, it's like looking at you while you're waving around. It looks, if you think an bear owl can look confused, it looks a little confused at what your gyrations there. Selwyn, you're awake. I mean, Selwyn, you're there. Sorry, you're not awake. You're Selwyn.
You are still awake, though.
You're also awake.
You are actually
even
awake.
though you have your nightcap on and you feel a little sleepy.
If you
You're
get
ready
knocked,
for some-
if you get knocked unconscious, you'll be happy with it.
Sure. I think probably makes sense to whack him again.
Sure, yeah, you're still in the same position.
Yeah.
So you have advantage on this attack, and you may do a significant amount.
I do a 13.
A 13 does hit. He's a big, fat owlbear ass.
So it's a D4?
A D4 plus your sneak attack damage.
Okay.
The pan is not hot enough anymore.
So we're looking at 13 points of damage.
Okay.
And I will disengage.
Disengage for you, is that still a move action?
It's a bonus action.
It's a bonus action for you? Yeah. Cool. So you slip. What are you trying to do when you disengage?
This
You still have your movement also.
this pan that's for the birds. That was a bad decision.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go to pick up my equipment.
Okay, no problem. You can get to your equipment and kind of grab.
Yeah.
You're just gonna all you need is just grab your weapons. It
Yeah.
takes you no time, so you're able to do that. But you're gonna have to remaneuver if you want to get advantage. Sure. Awesome. So it is now the owlbear's turn. He's got one target. He's gyrating, and the guy in his hands is not really where this thing's eaten, unless he wants to take a snack.
I haven't moved yet.
When's the last time you showered? Not you.
Oh, my
Devin.
character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have medieval showers?
When was the last time you dunked yourself in a river?
I mean, how much sausage did you eat? How much do you smell like sausage is my question. No, he's going to take 2 attacks on this paladin, and he's going to hit both times.
Woo! You hit a 20?
Yes.
Ooh.
My lowest roll was a 15. on my claw attack, and that is a 22 total. The owlbears are no joke.
All right.
So first of all, he gets a hold of you with his beak, and does 10 points of piercing damage as he crunches down on your armor. You can feel your chainmail kind of pop and puncture.
All right. I'm not having any of that. I'm going
Okay.
to use a reaction to
Sure.
channel divinity and force him to make a wisdom saving throw as I rebuff his attack back on him.
What's my target?
Your target is a 13.
No, he has a
He's a fucking owlbear, bro.
no. He's got a +1.
Owls,
In wisdom?
He's pretty wise.
No shit.
owls are super wise.
That is why they have a 12 wisdom.
Duh.
But I only rolled a total of 10, even with my +1, so I do not make it.
He will take the full force of his attack back on him,
Oh God!
Oh,
taking
dick.
10 points of radiant damage.
Sure thing.
Quit hitting yourself.
But that does not prevent me from taking the damage as well.
Oh no! It also doesn't prevent him from also swiping at you with his claws. No, I already hit. So take 14 points of slashing damage, which
Are
you
you-
might want to
Are
hold
you,
out for
are you
that.
sleeping now?
No, I'm still up. It's just I'm in pain.
It's a lot. All right. This owlbear is just tearing into everyone except for Selwyn. Bedouin.
Okay, I have one question before we go. So casting a ranged spell attack into combat, are there any negatives?
Casting a ranged spell into
Or
combat.
I suppose shooting into combat in general, is there a negative applied?
Yeah, you're
Only-
at disadvantage.
Yeah.
You're at disadvantage?
Yes.
If you're engaged in melee and you make a ranged attack, you get disadvantage.
All right, I'm gonna do this anyways because I think it's gonna be freaking crazy awesome. All right.
All right.
So as a bonus action, I'm going to. Oh, how many bonus actions do we get?
You get one.
Just one bonus action?
Yeah.
All right, it's not going to be nearly as hot as I thought it was going to be, but it's still going to be pretty hot. I'm going to bonus action Misty Step.
Sure thing.
Just out. So as he's holding on to me,
Shadowy. Vapor.
It basically turns into like black vapor, like thick black vapor. And his arm goes down, and I am on the other side of the fire. How far? How big of a clearing is this?
It's only maybe 35, 40 feet total.
All right. Well, I'm like 25 feet away from him or something like that, right? And I am going to. Oh, I really want to do this.
Well, firing
do it. What are you
firing
looking for?
into combat where there's people fighting, I don't believe gives you disadvantage. It's just
Oh,
if
that's
you're
a specific
engaged.
one. Oh,
No,
if I'm
no.
engaged-
If you were engaged in combat, that's from the
Oh,
disadvantage. Shooting it,
but-
I would potentially, if you roll like a 1, then I would potentially
Okay.
implement a possibility of hitting
Well,
you
in
with
that case,
your
I am
commands.
going to cast Chaos Bolt,
Holy crap! Yeah.
and I need to make a ranged spell attack upon him. Does a 13 hit him?
It does actually.
Oh, frickin' good.
It's a big target.
All right. Excuse me. So in that case, I need this, and did I only pull?
Do you need more d6?
No, I should be fine. Let's reroll this one. Chaos Bolt, I'll tell you. Chaos Bolt, I hurl an undulating, warbling mass of chaotic energy at one creature in range. I'm going to choose the owlbear. I made my range attack, spell attack against the target, and I hit. So the target takes 2d8 plus 1d6 damage. And I'm going to choose the orange d8 because that d8 is going to determine the damage type.
Sweet.
So I have dealt 12 force damage
Woo!
to this owlbear.
Whoop. You just get smacked
Just
with just pure force.
yeah. So I kind of misty step out darkness. So I was like, see how you like being sausage, bitch, and like dark vapor, and I just force.
Right. You just see like it's just a pressure push against the side of the owlbear. Someone's actually pushing it. And all its feathers kind of undulate as if it's just got hit by this massive wave. Not bad.
Pretty good.
Corsik, you see this happen.
All right.
He's pretty effective when he's not dead.
How's the owlbear looking?
It looks pretty hurt.
Does it look shaken?
It looks a little stirred. It looks like that last bit definitely hurt. And it's taken quite a bit from your rebuking.
All right. I am going to try and scare it away. I'm going to try and intimidate it. It's hurting, and I don't think that it would want to keep pushing if it thinks it's going to die. So I think I'm just going to try and force it out
How are you
with
gonna do this?
intimidation. I'm going to start banging my sword on my shield running up to it, charging it. Mm-hmm. Just be as intimidating as possible towards this creature.
Blah, blah.
Sure thing. Give me an intimidation roll.
That's going to be a 13.
You smack and yell and become is this terrifying presence. For a second, you see it kind of move like it's gonna try to just devour you. It's just like, F you, I'm gonna eat you. But then you just don't stop, and it kind of backs up. You're glowing with your radiance. It kind of looks at the situation. Looks like there's no one behind him, and it just like it looks behind him. It looks like this trail of sausage that was in the pan. They got dropped over and smacked, and he just grabs a mouthful of that and just turns away from you and books back into the woods, trailing several links of sausage behind him. And you have to break through the brush and the trees and the crashing into the distance.
What the hell was that?
You could have left the sausage at least.
You're a bear whisperer?
Bear shouter.
You know, we probably could have killed and eaten that bear.
I don't think I want to eat an owl bear.
It's awful gamey.
The campfire that you remember was much warmer, even with the owlbear attack, than the one that you're currently crouched around. The aches and pains of the wounds of your past feel exceptionally and especially sharp tonight, as they have for the past few nights. Sleep is kind of coming for y'all. You know that you have to try to get some sleep, set up your watches. None of you have been able to sleep very well, and those shadows, Selwyn, you're still seeing the movement, even though anytime you've gone to check it, it's never been there. Possibly time for one last story.
Hey, Selwyn, you remember that tavern you wanted us to go to back in back in the docks at Waterdeep? The one you called a authentic dwarven tavern?
Yeah.
The tavern in question, that Selwyn, you've heard about. You're not a big dwarven lore guy, but there's been a lot of pressure from your patrons to like dwarven culture, and you're like, I don't really care that much about dwarven culture. It's there, but humans are fine. But you have heard of one, and there's a lot of talk, and you've heard other dwarves kind of mention it, and you are looking for a decent tavern. You've only been in Waterdeep for a short time, staying in from one end to another, trying to find problems. You're actually looking for some permanent residence, someplace you can just pay like a decent fee of rent. But you get the directions for this place, and it is on the dock ward. It's a fairly seedy area. The tavern itself is located between Belnimbra Street, Gut Alley, and Adder Lane. There's a little section that's right off of Watchron Alley, specifically, of several buildings that kind of almost come to a point, like a corner, but instead there's an opening that leads into like several alleys. You can see, as you kind of approach this, there's not much to the area. A lot of typical dock buildings, not particularly overly run down. Actually, you notice that most of these buildings on this particular street are fairly well kept, old, kind of broken down in places, but nothing's boarded up. Everything seems to be functioning, either residences or businesses or warehouses. As you move into this area, you notice a few things. The first building you see is clearly a smithy. It's like a small, low-hung structure with maybe a little larger building behind it. And you see behind this, there are several buildings that kind of pan out for you in your point of view, kind of like in a V, like a wedge shape. It kind of parallels the buildings surrounding this area. The road, you also see a sign kind of off to the side that you can see is written in Dwarvish. You can't quite make out the runes from the distance, but you're able to, as you approach the smithy, you see that the sign to the right is pointing towards giving you directions to the tavern. Just kind of gives you a point like this way, and it indicates the name of the tavern, which is the Salty Anvil. There is no real direction towards the left. No signs that point out that way. It's slightly more dimmer lit in that direction. But there is definitely light along that part of the road as well. Do you want to do anything with any of the shops? Everything's closed out. You're playing there at night, or you wouldn't expect anyone to be open.
That doesn't matter to the rogue.
It does not.
So there's a smithy there?
Yeah, right at the tip, basically, there's a smithy. You can see there's a sign. You can all see the sign of the smithy as you approach it. It is written in common. It's not dwarvish. In fact, it's not even a dwarvish-looking script. It's the Blue Dragon Smithy, is what it's called. Not the most original of names. There is some blue coloring and blue dragon scale, kind of like a blue dragon scale shield carved of wood with some metal inlays. That's kind of used as a sign. And you see kind of like an open structure in the front, as if the work could be done. Nothing of value is kept out exposed. But when this is operating, you would see the smithy would probably be out in the open. The rest of it is boarded shut and closed. There is some light you can see coming through one of the small slit windows.
Okay. There's nothing particularly unique looking or interesting about this place. This looks like every other smithy.
Yeah, I mean, there's smithies all over the. It looks like it's functional. It looks like a decent one. I mean, from your eyes, it's a decent one. Not structured like dwarven smithies that you've seen before, though.
I'll peek into the window.
Yep. You can kind of make out the insides of a storage area. There's a light coming from somewhere you're gonna make out. You would assume a candle light, but no movement inside. You can just kind of see storage bins, things like that. You can't really make out the details of the inner area. It looks like this is probably still a workspace.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Or which way you're gonna head?
To the Salty Anvil.
Okay. So you make your way around the corner here, and you actually, the first thing you notice as you're kind of moving through this space that you find odd is these inner buildings. Unlike the rest of the buildings, which even the stonework and woodwork, these inner buildings, at least the base of the stonework, is different than the rest of the structure. So as if there was some existing stone that then the rest of the buildings were built around, or wood was built around, applied to. You would swear that this might even be of dwarven manufacture. You know that apparently Waterdeep was built on top of an ancient dwarven settlement, a kingdom of some kind. But it's odd to see this. So it seems like possibly you would assume that some of this is actually up above level, at least forming the base of things, and then they built on top of that.
It's no surprise everything good is built on the back of dwarves.
It's a true statement that everyone's aware of. You make your way around to the back end, and that's when you can actually see what you would assume is the Salty Anvil. It is not what you would consider a dwarven smithy, at least not on the first glance, because it is an odd structure, to be sure. The base is definitely similar in the sense that it uses the dwarven stone. On top of that is another type of stone that builds up at least almost to 2 stories. Big slabs that seem to be pulled from existing structure from somewhere else. Nothing you've seen in Waterdeep. So it's as if someone actually shipped massive stone slabs and built part of the structure, additional structure, on top of that, and then braced it with wood and metal and create the base. It goes up about 2 stories high. On top of this is a wooden structure that's also braced, and you see a lot of beams come down on angles and odd angles to kind of maintain it. And the structure itself seems to have been reconfigured from some sort of seafaring vessel.
Okay.
You notice 2 like porthole type glass windows, massive windows that kind of come up in a half sphere. You can see shadows of people. Like there's probably tables situated next to that. That's practically what you would consider a second or third story. They're a little off center. One's at one height, one's a little bit higher. And above this, you see what would probably be part of the actual ship's deck reconfigured to have. Looks like there's awnings and things, and there is some light reflecting off things. So it looks like there's also seating or some sort of activity on top.
Does it look like it should work?
It looks a bit odd, but from a construction standpoint, things are definitely braced and built around it. It just looks a little odd, and the nautical theme doesn't really match what you consider a dwarven tavern or some dwarven construction. As you come around towards what would be the front, you do notice there are people moving back and forth here. Not a particularly busy night. I also notice that things are relatively quiet. There's like a dull murmur coming from things, but as you come to the front, you can see that the place is fairly well packed. But you notice in front of the main doors, there is an anvil situated right before you come to the door. And as you notice a few other patrons coming in, they're all either like kissing their finger and touching the anvil and then walking in, or on the case of the occasional dwarves, you actually see dwarves actually mouth the anvil and give it a straight up kiss right onto it before they enter the establishment. People coming out don't really.
Have I heard anything of this before?
It is not a dwarven. It is not necessarily a dwarven custom. Some things. I mean, it's not something that mountain dwarves have been known to do. At least, you can give me a history check.
Oh, for cute. Do all dwarves make out with
I
animals?
rolled a 20.
Oh wow. You have heard that some hill dwarf clans do something similar to this. It's not a common practice. It's not a thing. But as far as kind of blessing the establishment before you go in, it's a sign of respect. Usually it's just acknowledging that somebody worked really hard to do something, and you're going to partake in what they did. It's not a mountain dwarf thing. It's not a thing that you're familiar with. But you've definitely heard of it.
Do you think they use tongues?
It's not necessarily. It's not necessary to kiss it, but it's at dwarf face height. It's easier for you to kiss it, but you don't feel obligated to do so.
So I take it that's how the tavern got its name?
I'll kiss the anvil.
All right. So you move forward. You kiss the anvil, and as soon as you do, suddenly your sense. Give me a Constitution check with advantage.
Is this against poison?
No.
It probably should be.
I will take
Or wisdom. It can be a Constitution or wisdom check. I'll take either. Just having fun.
I'll take the 21.
Okay. You're kind of buffeted, but as soon as you kiss it, suddenly it's like someone just turned the volume up. And it's just, you can hear clanks of glasses and shouts and laughter. And all the sounds of the tavern arranging you. And the rest of this neighborhood is nice and quiet and settled. This place, boisterous. And welcoming, and you can kind of look inside. As you're standing at the door, you're seeing people coming in and out. You kind of make it a nice warm, kind of dimly lit lower floor. What do the rest of you guys do?
Is there anyone else in here other than dwarves?
Yes. In fact, you would say the majority of the patrons that you can see coming in and out are not dwarves.
Oh, that's clearly the sign of this being a honest to goodness, for real dwarven bar. Is that there's like 6 dwarves and 60 guilos.
Well, the anvil is what makes it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not one to pass up on a local custom, so I'll go ahead and kiss it.
Hey,
Okay.
as he goes to touch it with his lips, I want to poke him really hard. Like I want to scare the hell out of him.
Oh, when it like to try to time it
Yeah.
to when it happens. All right.
I'm tripping hard.
You can make me, and this is like I said, this can be a Constitution or Wisdom saving or check, not really saving throw, with disadvantage because you're being poked at the exact same time. You're not expecting it.
I'll go with wisdom. With disadvantage, you say?
Yes.
That'll be a 7.
Okay. So you feel it sounds like
The other one was a natural 20.
someone just shouted into your side, and like the devils of the 9 hells are just screaming at you for a brief second, and you make a loud, girlish shout, and then several of the patrons kind of that are coming out notice it, and they snicker at you.
By the gods!
You have no idea why he made that noise. You just think he poked him.
Well, yeah, when you poke somebody in the side, they go, ooh, like that. That's what I figured happened. You give them a little, ooh. So just a little boop. I'm still laughing. I think it's funnier than hell.
We're not from a really refined culture.
So dwarves are from the north, right?
Some dwarves are from the north. Dwarves are there's dwarves in the north and the south. There's dwarves everywhere.
So considering I am from...
There are dwarves in the north.
considering I am from
I am from the north.
There was a clan of dwarves that was very prevalent in Iceland.
So specifically, I'm asking. So since the 10 towns is in the north as well, I assume there would be some sort of influence, dwarven influence. Do I see how silly this kind of looks?
There is not a lot of dwarven influence. You would know of dwarves.
But we wouldn't have like dwarves.
They didn't
in town.
influence your culture. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right. Well, this is all for cute. Well, I'm not gonna kiss the anvil or nothing. I'll do a 2-finger peace out thing.
Okay.
I don't mean to be a prude or nothing, but I do know where y'all shit's been. So.
You kiss it, same effect. As soon as you touch
Oh,
the anvil, the sound comes through, and you can hear everything that's going on in the tavern very clearly.
Oh my.
And the front door, the thing you notice, the front area is definitely has a lot of dwarven influences to the stones. A big stone archway, massive archway, much higher than as dwarves tend to do. They build big, even though they don't need to. Standing in front of this doorway, kind of to the corner of the anvil, is a massive iron statue of a minotaur.
You gonna kiss that too?
Holding, it's not familiar for you, from definitely not dwarven in its culture. Holding a mallet, like a big maul, and it's like down its hand, where the head of the maul is on the ground. The maul has, as if it's like designed for meat tenderizing. It has those wedged triangles on either end, and it just stands there menacing, kind of off to the corner, as if you perhaps like a dime store wooden Indian thing.
Does it have like a little plaque on it with a name?
There is no plaque, no base. It's just standing there.
I wonder if it's based off a live specimen.
Yes.
I will go investigate that.
Okay.
I will not.
What do the rest of you do? Are you gonna stand by him, or are you gonna enter the establishment, get something to drink?
We're at a tavern. I want to drink something.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in too. All right. I don't get tickles by statues. Can we get a dime store Indian? Just put it in the back of all our shots somewhere. It'll be our fucking.
I mean, you have the.
Are you talking about like for us, like a recording?
Yeah.
Those are like $400, Poncho.
Why are they at dime stores then? It should be.
First, there's no such thing as a dime store.
No.
So any Indian that you found is either going to have been recently commissioned or crazy old antique.
Yeah, clearly that's a $400 store.
Oh, yo.
Well, inflation. Yeah. So you're investigating, and the rest of you are going in. So what is your plan when you investigate? You're just gonna.
I want to look at it, see if there's anything. See sure. One. Is it a sculpture? Is it a thing? Is it
Sure thing.
What is
you're
it?
gonna kind of you're sitting investigating. The other guys kind of look at you and whatever. I'm just getting a drink. You walk in. The rest, the other two, you two walk into this establishment, and you can see that you're not really sure what a dwarven bar would look like, but parts of this you think probably are dwarven. There are several booths and tables that are stone hewn into the sides. There aren't any windows. There's some slits. You can see like there's even like pained glass there. On this bottom floor. So off to the sides there's some booths. You see like there's a group of very boisterous young halflings drinking and laughing at each other in one booth corner. All sorts of people. Some of the booths are empty. You also see throughout in the middle, you see several different tables, some small tables for maybe just two people, and then large tables with benches for large parties. You see people kind of sitting everywhere in different groups. It's not particularly packed. There's still plenty of places to sit. Three of you could easily find a place that you're comfortable. Towards the back of the establishment, in a slightly better lighting, is what is a big, massive bar. You can see behind this bar there's a doorway that's leading back to what you would assume be like a storage room or a tap room. You see there's at least a space for two big kegs on tap that you can visibly see, and some other room for, looks like there's some places for wine, things like that. There are some bar stools. A few of them are occupied. Actually, most of them are occupied. You only see one or two people are kind of fluctuating back and forth sitting there. There is a barmaid or bartender, female from this distance, looks human, that's tending wiping off some glass and chatting up the patrons. Off to the left, you can see a set of stairs that leads up. And as you kind of look up to view the place, you can see that the ceiling is extremely high, beams and support, but it's opened. It seems like it goes much higher, and there's kind of like a platform or railing, another level that overlooks like a balcony down here. It kind of goes up into multiple levels up. You can sort of make it out. You can tell that it seems like this stairs ultimately will go up to whatever this roof area is. You can't quite make out the details of that.
Does the inside of this tavern match the outside, dimensions-wise?
Well, you're not getting a good look right now because you're investigating the statue. But to everyone else, yes, it doesn't. It's not a weird thing.
It's not like a.
It's a bit of a. It does definitely abate an additional building, and spread out into that you can see. But as far as the wooden structure, you would even assume based on the size of this wooden structure that looks like a ship was a ship, except the dimensions of the ship look like it's not any ship you've ever seen. Like the way it's constructed, especially those portholes and things, it looks like some sort of fisheye. It's weird. So what are you guys doing as you step in?
I walk up to the bar.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also bar.
Well,
Yep.
hey, why don't you find us a chair? I'll get you a drink. What do you want?
Just whatever dwarvish ale they have. I don't got a preference,
Okay.
but if we're in an authentic place, I want it to be dwarven.
So I get the picture in my head that this is like a Chinese restaurant run by Puerto Ricans in Oklahoma. That like a lot of money was spent on it to try to make it look like what white folk, Midwestern white folk, would think a real looking Chinese restaurant would look like. Like it's a facade is what I'm thinking.
Give me an insight. Insight? Yeah, I guess insight check. Or history. I don't know what to tell you.
It looks legit to me.
No, it looks like whatever you want it to look like. Whatever you assume.
Cool.
It's fine.
It's fine. All right. I got like a 2.
So Selwyn, give me a perception check.
With advantage?
No.
21.
So this is a metal statue. It's made of metal. You don't see a base. It's definitely perfectly balanced. The one thing that you can notice about it, as apparent upon your investigation, is it is hinged and jointed. It is as if it is a giant iron suit of armor in the shape of a minotaur.
All right. I look to my left. Is anyone watching?
And there's people coming in and out. I mean, you can probably find a moment when people aren't watching.
All right. I look to my right. Is anyone watching?
You can find a time when people are not watching if you wish.
I touch it.
You touch it. Nothing happens.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done.
It seems very sturdy. You also notice when you touch it, it doesn't like, there's no like rock or give. You don't feel like if you don't feel like you could actually push it over easily.
Yeah. I'm assuming there's patrons around.
Yeah.
I grab the closest guy to me and I yank on his coat.
Excuse me, sir.
What's this thing?
What do you mean? It's a minotaur
Why is it here?
statue. I don't know.
Thank
I
you.
didn't put it here.
Fucking ridiculous. What the hell is this thing? I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy your evening.
Yeah.
Gets off, kind of looks back at you a bit. Shrugs it off. Dwarves are, we can tell he's like thinking dwarves are weird. It's fine.
So like,
He looks back over his partner. Do you know who that was? Do you know who that?
hey, how valuable does this look?
It's not your normal.
$400.
It's not. You would say easily 400 gold pieces. You could probably find it if you can find a buyer for it. You're not sure. I mean, it's a statue. It's an iron statue. Just from the artistry and the quality alone, at least 400 gold pieces, depending on how it is. You don't think it's a functional suit of armor. It seems weird. It's got weird like
Yeah.
legs.
So
hoof feet.
I want to go look for you. Hey, Corsik, you still have those sacks?
Sacks?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. How big were they again?
What are you trying to carry?
Nothing. Just curious about the size of the sacks.
Could probably fit a gnome in it. but not a halfling.
Fair enough. It's a suit of armor. And I point at the guy who I poked. That guy doesn't know what it is.
No, he's got any. That's fine. We can see you did.
All right. That doesn't look like it. It looks like a statue.
It's what a suit of armor looks like when there's not someone wearing it.
Beduin, you settle up to the bar?
Yeah.
I would like to make a charisma check.
Sure thing.
To get the, because I assume that how many barmaids are working this bar?
You only see the one woman behind the bar.
Okay. Is she near me, or is she like down the other side of the bar to helping and joshing with other patrons?
She's currently joshing with other patrons, but you can see her as soon as you come up to the bar. She glances you a glance and gives you a nod to kind of acknowledge that you're there.
All right. I give her one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Give her a wave.
Yep.
As if to beckon her over towards me.
She politely, takes the time to disengage herself with the conversation with the other attendees at the bar, at the other patrons, and slides on over to you. Actually, on her way there, she kind of puts the glasses she's cleaning away and tosses the rag on a hook. She kind of leans a little bit on the bar, not super provocatively, just kind of leans casually. What can I get, John?
Hey, good evening. So can I get a mead and whatever your finest dwarven ale is?
Dwarven ale.
Hell if I know, it's not for me.
I have never developed a taste for dwarven ale. I tell you what. But I certainly have a variety of selections. You just want me to pick one? How fine do you want it? I know people come in and they say fine, but then I tell them how much it is, and they're like, maybe a little less.
So let me put it this way: give me your cheapest dwarven swill, and I'm gonna tell them that it's the best one.
Well, I again don't like it, but my husband would hate to hear anyone call any dwarven ale swill, and we would never serve any dwarven ale that would be considered swill, and there is no such thing. However, I do have one that can get you for a silver piece. It's a bit high, but dwarven ale is not cheap here.
It's not.
No, that's pretty expensive. But
in the dwarven bar, eh?
Yeah. Well, dwarves are not known for being cheap.
Well, I know a particular dwarf, but anyways, yeah, sure, whatever. That in a mead, a decent, halfway decent mead. I mean, this is like in Waterdeep, right?
Sure thing.
So I should have a brand of mead that I like. I should have a Yingling or a.
You haven't. Well,
Blue Moon
you're still
like
trying to find a mead that you like.
Oh, am I really?
Yeah, because I mean,
no.
they don't really have quite a proper mead here. You've found things that have come close,
Not
but
quite
not quite what you're used to.
Yeah, well, I'm from the north. That's where we have mead.
Yeah. So she's like, absolutely. Do you want me to just get you here? You guys got a table? Did you come by yourself?
Well, no. No. Nice. No, I'm with the chainmailed fellow over there, and we have a dwarf, but it's hard to find him because he's short.
She giggles at that.
Yeah.
Like the height has its advantages in some circumstances. And that's just you just want one mead and
yeah, a mead and a dwarven ale. He's too busy poking anvils or some damn thing. Whatever. Just we're at table 6.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Table 6. She's like, sure thing. What are you talking about?
I say table 6, but I point at the table.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever.
Do you notice one thing? They're not. You're trying to find them in the crowd.
Trying to find him?
You don't see him. He's not at a table, and then you kind of see him. He's by the door, and he looks like he's sitting there with your dwarven compatriot, staring at something outside the entrance.
Cool. Yeah. 6. The one in the back there. With
all right. How about I just get this stuff poured for you, and you can take it back to whatever table.
Sure. Whatever, man. I'm hanging out.
All right. So she just gets you the 2. You just wanted 2 drinks for 3 companions.
I would like to roll a charisma check.
No sharing.
I would like to roll a charisma check.
Sure.
What I want to get from this charisma check is I want her to give me my fucking drinks, right? Like, but I still want to be friendly and nice.
Give me a charisma check.
So, would this technically be an intimidate?
Do you want it to be an intimidate?
Not necessarily.
No, because the implication.
How about a deception?
Intimidation is obvious that you're intimidating.
How about a deception?
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
You're trying to trick her, and you're trying to be polite.
Wouldn't
you're
it
going
be
to seem
persuasion?
polite while being rude.
Nope. It would be deception, and that would make it a 13.
Okay. Let's see if she picks up on you. She's busy. she kind of just smiles at you. She's like, absolutely. She turns around, deftly pours an ale from one of the kegs, and plops it down there. You can smell it from the distance, from where you're at. And she goes kind of off to one of the racks there, looks for it, pulls a little like stoneware glass, pops it open, pours it into a your typical mug, not a horn, not a
Okay.
typical mug, and hands and then slides both to you.
I sniff my mead and I take a sip out of it.
Yeah,
How is it?
it's all right.
All right. I ask her what the name of it or the brand or whatever it is.
It's Cogswin's.
Cogsman's? Huh. All right. So I go walk to our table. I try to
You
meander
gotta
my
pay
way.
for it.
Oh
You gotta
yeah,
pay for
no, I
drinks.
do that too. How many dollars does she want?
You're pretty charismatic. She bought it. So
I'm
she'll
super
she'll let
charismatic.
you have both for silver.
Oh, good.
She's
Yeah.
like, you seem new here. Yeah, I know. You're not gonna mark anything down.
Yeah.
You will.
Sure.
You will.
Oh,
you
the
rue
character
the day.
starts. You're one silver low.
You rue the day when money matters.
One silver short of the gold.
Um,
So yeah,
so-
I got him like this, and I'm doing my meandering through all
Right.
the round eyes and stuff.
So yeah, they're out in the front of the place. They haven't found a table.
You're not they're not in the building yet?
No, they're talking about a statue.
Oh my
He
Christ!
brought him over to talk about a
Oh, I thought he
statue.
was at a table. I want to find a table then. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if there's somebody else there and it's like
Okay.
a long table. I assume it's long.
You
'cause
see
it's
him
longer.
coming back as you're. Do you finish your conversation about the statue?
Look, clearly these legs do not hold feet inside of them. It's not a piece of armor, it's a statue.
That's armor.
It would be impossible to wear. It's not armor.
Be impossible for you to wear. You're clumsy looking.
Are you saying it's Minotaur armor?
Is this size to be a minotaur, or is it size for a person?
No, it's like a Minotaur. It actually has like hooved, like a weird bend to the bottom part, and it comes to hooves.
Probably.
Like a person maybe could fit in. It'd be awkward to walk around like that.
I wouldn't wear it. I see our drinks.
All right. What type of table do you got? You pick?
Yeah, whatever.
Do you
Pick
really
center
want-
towards the edge of the place, window. No
I gave you
window.
3 out. You got a booth. You got stone booths. You got a big long table with benches, and you got some smaller tables kind of scattered around.
Long table with benches.
Okay. So he set your drinks down on the bench.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's only 2 drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grab a mug.
You do not.
Yes, I do.
I'm holding 2 drinks in my hand. You don't pull any out. I go like this. You remember you're 3'9". I go like
He's
this
actually
over
taller
your
than
head,
3'9".
And I have mine here.
I'm taller than 3'9",
How much taller than 3'9"?
like 4 or something.
Okay, I'm still head and shoulders and chest and belly above you, and I just hand it to him.
Fair enough.
I figure you got some sort.
So I look at the mug. I look at his mug. I leave.
Whatever.
And you notice you're gonna go ahead and drink that dwarven ale.
I am, yes.
Sure. Give me a Constitution saving.
Oh, jeez.
I knew that was coming. I did.
Constitution save?
Yeah.
That'll be a 9.
Yeah. It's pretty strong.
All right.
Have you ever drinking a dwarven ale before?
No, I figured I'd give it a go since this is the authentic experience.
You feel that it's not really that big of a deal. It tastes like ale to you, like it's like just an ale. Maybe it's a little bit higher alcohol content than you're used to. Seems fine. Your meat seems tasty.
Good.
You've had better,
Even considering I'm on fucking Molly from kissing that statue.
even considering that you're on
How
Molly.
bad must it be? I'm fucking flashing lights and sucking on lollipops.
No,
and
it's
stuff,
just
and
it just
all
get
right.
you're not on Molly. You just the normal tavern sounds that were usually
okay.
muted are now
Okay.
now where you're at. So you enjoy your drinks, and where are you heading?
Hey, is there someone who looks like they're entertaining a group? Someone particularly boisterous or?
Yeah, there's the halflings are making a lot of noise. Everyone else is a little quiet. A few different groups. What do you? They're the noisiest people that you can see on this floor,
All
on
right.
this spawn floor.
Do they look like locals or are they tourists?
You haven't been in Waterdeep long enough. Give me a history check, if you.
That's intelligence, right?
Yeah.
10.
Okay. Yeah, they don't look
9.
like 9. So they're definitely not. They're not in your realm. You wouldn't associate them with the Thieves Guild. And from what you've heard, there isn't a Thieves Guild in Waterdeep. There's crime, but there's no sort of organized guild for thieves at all. No, these guys, you would not know if they're locals or not. They definitely don't look like they're out of their element. They look pretty comfortable with where they're at. Maybe they're just really drunk.
Okay. And there's just one barmaid.
There's one
Tending
barmaid.
bar?
There's one bartender. You do notice a few other people that would appear to be servers. A couple humans, female, and there's at least one human male, and I think maybe a female dwarf you see that look like they're serving food to tables.
All right. Whoever comes closest to me, I want to grab their apron or whatever it is and ask them about the.
Okay. You grab one of the male server that comes by. You're like, hey, whoa.
Yeah.
What can I do for you?
What's that?
What's what?
That. And I point at the armor.
The armor that's outside? The armor's outside of the door. Every time you point to the armor, it's like the thing outside of the door before you come in.
Oh, okay. What's with the armor outside the door?
Before you come in.
Just want to be clear. He's like, oh, the Minotaur thing?
Yeah.
That's just a Minotaur. It guards the door in case anybody gets fresh.
You ever seen it do anything?
No, nobody gets fresh here.
Who put it there?
I'm assuming the owner did. I've only been working here for like a couple months. I've never met him.
Why are you so fucking obsessed with the goddamn Bonnermoo out there?
You've been here for a few months and you've never met the owner?
No, I mean I know Sarska. She's the one who hired me, and she points to the bartender.
What are you hiding?
Oh my Christ!
Give me an intimidation check.
Oh my goodness.
Roll a natural 20.
I cast mage armor.
He looks at you and he looks terrified. He's like, Did they send you? Did he send you?
Oh yeah.
Like, listen, tell the Xanathar that I have his money. I'll get it. I swear to God. I swear to all the gods that I will get his money.
Well, listen. I'm gonna pretend like I've never seen you, but you give me the money and I'll make sure he gets it.
I don't have nearly enough to give him anything on me. Certainly not on me.
What do you have on you?
I mean, I have like maybe a few gold pieces.
All
That's
right,
it.
That's a great start to keep him off your back.
Yeah, looks around. And says, all right, just make sure you tell him I'll be good for it. This is just a down payment, and hand you 3 gold pieces.
All right.
Oh my God!
So your knight.
Wait, who actually is Xanathar?
You've never heard that name before. You don't know who that is.
No, absolutely not.
Well, he made me a dark sorcerer. Thanks, bro.
I think we made an enemy. Oh, great.
Well, with that is pretty much how your evening goes. You found out some other interesting things, but all those pleasant memories don't really matter much anymore. The fire's dying down. You're just kind of stare at each other. The smiles fade. And you don't really know how many more of these evenings you have before this desert, this abyssal, horrific desert claims you. You knew you had to come. It was the right thing to do. The score was too good. And that's your thoughts as kind of pan up. The 3 of you standing around a flame, a dimming flame. And the shadows around you definitely are moving. There are definite shapes, lizard-like perhaps, scuttling around the fire. And the only sound you hear, really, in this quiet desert is a whistle and what seems like like the sound of chains rattling that get louder and louder. And that's where we'll stop. That'll be the thing that we did.
I cast light.
Oh, that's what it was.
I cast light on a small thing, and then I cast Mage Hand and make it move around to dispel these dark creatures.
Oh, they're just goblins.
Oh!
Oh no!